Think about living your whole life inside a windowless bunker, trying to map the world outside using only faint vibrations on the walls. That is your brain. Trapped in total darkness, your mind receives raw electrical pulses and projects a vivid internal movie of what it thinks is happening. This internal simulation is what researchers call a controlled hallucination. Since your mind is just guessing reality into existence, what is actually out there?
Try this. Close your eyes and walk 10 steps through your own living room. You aren't seeing anything, yet you aren't bumping into the coffee table. Your brain runs a simulation to save energy, a process called the active inference framework. It prioritizes a predictable state because absolute truth is just too expensive for our biology to maintain. But if our internal map is all that matters, what happens when that map starts to lie?
Think about your room right now. You are ignoring 98% of the textures and sounds around you just to focus on my voice. Your brain acts like a ruthless bouncer, turning away everything else to keep your reality stable. This is precision weighting. When this filter hits 99%, it creates total certainty. But that selective focus has a cost. Wait until you see what happens when the filter fails.
Try to tickle yourself. You can't, because your brain has already simulated the touch and canceled the surprise. It's like having a biological flight simulator tucked away in your skull, predicting the physical outcome of every action before it occurs. Scientists call these cerebellar forward models. Prediction is actually just another motor skill. This hardware keeps our movements smooth, yet it also appears responsible for constructing our entire perception of reality.
Try focusing on a single goal every morning for 5 minutes. You're installing a software update to filter your reality, a process called high-level prior installation. It's like tuning a radio until the music finally cuts through the static. But when your internal volume knob gets stuck on a negative channel, you're trapped in maladaptive precision weighting. This biological loop looks exactly like karma, and it points to a blueprint for something much more unsettling. Imagine your brain is a crowded room where everyone is whispering. To hear the message clearly, you have to jam the doors open and crank up the volume. That's the logic behind the chemical wedge. When you saturate your nicotinic receptors to over 95%, you effectively hotwire your focus. It forces neurons to fire with zero lag, turning a fuzzy signal into total precision. But keeping those gates pinned open reveals a strange side effect that nobody expected.
Imagine reaching for a heavy door that turns out to be unlatched. That weird, stumbling lurch is your brain running a surprise on it because your expectations didn't match reality. It forces a total system update to fix what researchers call a Bayesian blind spot. Try this. Walk backward through your own house. Every tiny wobble is your brain hunting for prediction errors. But these audits reveal something much more unsettling about our eyes.
Instead of being the person walking through the room, you function like the mechanism that smooths out the bumps so the picture stays clear. Jeremy Schmahmann identified this as cerebellar cognitive affective syndrome, where your brain acts as a governor, weighing every impulse to keep you balanced. You're the one managing the heavy lifting behind your personality. But what happens when the values being balanced aren't even yours to begin with? Think of your perception like a search engine that only finds what it already expects to see. If you want a different life, you have to feed it better queries. Try this tomorrow. Sit in total silence for 3 minutes and identify 4 distinct textures around you. By forcing your brain to catalog new details, you're rewriting your internal prediction code. That is how you program your inference engine. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com.